14 players were named to the 2025 AVCA Division III All-American team. But in my opinion, there were two massive snubs on this year's first team list. Two players that made the NCAA Final Four from Juniata in Southern Virginia, and those two players are Luke Hoffman and Gehrig Tolman. I'll get right to the point in this video. These two guys are two of the best players at their position and dominated D3 this season, respectively, in each of their roles. And you saw the success they had towards the end of the year. It's hard to believe that they were guys that weren't voted on to be on that first team caliber level. No disrespect to any of the guys on the first team, but I just don't see a way how Tolman and Hoffman didn't make this list. Let's start with Luke Hoffman. He led the NCAA in hitting percentage, .522. How does the best hitting percentage player in the country not make it on the first team? That's the question I've been asking myself for the past several weeks. On top of that, he had 103 blocks, 28 of those being solo blocks, which from my belief is second in the NCAA in that category. 226 kills on the year and 36 service aces. Multi-dimensional middle, did it all, attacked well, blocked well, served better than most, and did it against the best opponents too. Hit .533 against SVU, .556 against SVU the second time. That's the #1 team in the country who won the national championship, by the way. .876 against Misericordia, 700 against number 15 St. John Fisher, and .429 against number 13 Nazareth. All year, Luke put on display. He's always been a high efficiency hitter. When you lead the NCAA in hitting percentage, I just don't understand how you don't make it onto the first team All-American list. Hoffman led his team all the way to the NCAA semifinals, where they matched up against Southern Virginia and took the best team in the country to 5 sets. And he did what he did best, hitting efficiently. You can see on this clip here, running an excellent float route to get space, and this is something he did all season long, especially connecting well with sophomore setter Will Sear. Perfect pass from Goldsboro. Hoffman approaches the middle and leads to this float route, jumping outside of Biancan, puts this ball into the floor. Big time kill. You can see the enthusiasm, the fire that he plays with, and that's kind of the spirit that he brought to this Juniata team every year he was with the Golden Eagles. So that's Luke Hoffman, and then you have Gehrig Tolman, the #1 team in the country. If you look at what changed on this roster from this year to last, the only thing that changed significantly was the setter position. Tyler Schaefer would have poised this team to victory this year as well. But Tolman came in leading this group and demonstrated how he was one of the better setters, if not the best setter in the country. 1,009 assists on the year. It's 10.08 per set. And SVU hit .360 on the season with only one loss to Springfield earlier in the year. Tolman has all the stats to be a first-team player. 1,000 assists in one season, .360 hitting percentage. But for me, when it comes to this guy, it's the tough sets that he makes, always locating, and just the eye test of how he is a player out there, always bettering the ball. You saw this on multiple levels, whether it was the long sets connecting to Jimbo on the outside, finding the gaps in the block, and delivering with pace, a ball that seems out of system, but to him it's still pretty much in system. This was routine, and this is what he did all season long, demonstrated that ability against all opponents. I think one of his special attributes was how well he connected with the middles, especially in the semifinals and finals of the NCAA tournament. They were clicking all night long. You can see on this play how he completely pivots his body and turns midair, find the gap, and Big Country puts this ball in the dirt. Just an elite set coming from a big primetime player. He really was the difference maker that set SVU apart. I know they had Canlin and Schaefer and Madsen and all these guys, but when it came down to it, having the best setter out there really made the difference, and Tolman demonstrated how good and how powerful he was in orchestrating the game with his hands. For me, I didn't have a vote in this year's AVCA All-American list. If I'm making a decision, it comes down to 3 things. So your stats. How well do your stats match up with everyone else in the field? Number 2, the eye test. What do you look like? How dominant of a player do you seem? If I saw you on tape, what kind of feel do I get? And lastly, your team success. What kind of role you have in that team success. And if you look at both of these guys, Luke Hoffman, Gehrig Tolman, they check all three of those boxes. Best stats, some of the best stats for middle in Hoffman, and some of the best stats as a setter for Tolman. The eye test is clearly there. If you put on the tape, you see how technically sound both these players are, how dominant they are. And lastly, team success, bringing both of their teams to the Final Four. If I had a vote, these two guys would have been on the list. I think it was a little bit of a snub. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on if these two guys deserve to be in that top 14. That's all I got in this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.